Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing today? In the world of the book of the face. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday. Man, I had shine. Boy, shine. I got my son got me a Freebird shaver for my Father's Day. I used it out for the first time this weekend. Boy, talking about getting that head spiffy. It's nice. As always, I give a couple seconds, see who all gonna join the party while I sit up, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday thus far. Alright, get this out. From a page. There we go. Alright, that is there. Shoes don't fall off. Get this straightened out. As always, it look crooked. There we go. Yeah. All right, I think we got it. Get some of this hot called the H2O. That's the good stuff. All right, how's everybody doing today? Brother John on behalf of Lost Sheep Ministries, sponsored by River Lake Baptist Church, here to bring y'all another wonderful message this evening. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday. Of course, as always, I appreciate you being here. I know it's not like a normal church night. It's not a Wednesday night or a Sunday night, but it's a Monday night. And Monday's like usually like it's the worst day of the week. But so for y'all to be here, man, I definitely really appreciate it. I know a lot of people watch the videos later on as well. I appreciate you doing that. And I just appreciate y'all being a part of this ministry and being willing to be glutton for punishment, be willing to tune in and listen to me run my mouth. And hopefully you get some help from it. I'm not just running my mouth for the sake of running my mouth. So I appreciate y'all being here tonight. Again, I'm Brother John on behalf of Lost Sheep Ministries, here to bring y'all another lesson tonight. So we've been doing a series over the last few weeks called Obedience and Blessings, or Disobedience and Curses. And I've just been doing a comparison. The first lesson was the introduction. Then I think I did the first three lessons after that. So lesson 1 was the introduction. Lesson 2, 3, and 4 were all about the blessings that come from being obedient. So the last few lessons, and probably the rest of them, going to be on disobedience and the curses that come into one's life due to disobedience. So that's what we've been doing for the last few weeks. Just a quick review. Last week was part 7. So this is going to probably be we're going to probably get like 15. By the time the series is over, we're going to have like 15 but we're going to keep on chugging on through. Hopefully, like I said, it's helping you guys. Been getting quite a few views on it, so I believe it's helping people. So I'm keep it going, whether I got views or not, I'm keep it going. So just a quick review of what we covered last week. So last week was lesson number 7, and it covered points number 11 and points number 12. So point number 11 from last week was it was a concept of disobedience, and the point was partial disobedience partial obedience or delayed obedience is still disobedience. And I just talked about how, a lot of times we'll know what needs to be done. We know when it needs to be done, and we still want to do it. We'll do it, but we'll do it our way. And we saw that what happened with Saul. God told him to go in, kill everybody and destroy everything, but he went in and killed everybody except the king and destroyed everything except for the good stuff, So there was still partial disobedience. He felt he had been obedient. I still did it. We'll see when we get into the text verse. I carried out the mission, and then Samuel Hill was like, well, if you carried out the mission, why am I hearing all these sheep and this lowing of cattle and this bleating of the sheep in the background? Like, if you carried out your mission, I wouldn't be hearing that. So, and we just saw how that's going to be, and we're going to see as we, continue to go through Samuel, that's going to be the beginning of his downfall. That part, this is the second time he's been disobedient, where the Lord had gave him a direct command and he didn't follow it the way the Lord told him, didn't do it the way the Lord told him to do it. And it's going to be the beginning of his downfall. So we kind of talked about that last week again. Partial obedience and delayed obedience is still disobedience, And then that was point number 11 from last week, and then point number 12 from last week is, if I can get down to it, it's one of another curses that come from the disobedience, and that curse is the inability to hear, see, or listen to the Lord. And I talked about how when you live in disobedience, you're not going to have a connection with God, so you're not going to be able to hear God. You're not going to be able to see God when God is working in your life. To somebody that's really have a close relationship with the Lord and really working with the Lord, it's obvious when the Lord is working. But to somebody that don't, it's like, they be quick to say, oh, that's a coincidence. No, that's God working, and he's been obvious to show you that he's working in your life. And I've told y'all several stories before from when I was out soul winning and got to talk to somebody, and they was just like, matter of fact, it happened this weekend. I was actually, for the first time, I went to soul winning in my neighborhood. I usually go all over the whole state of Tennessee, but I've never went to people that's close to me. So, this said, like, you know what? I'm gonna go talk to my neighbors. And it's really awkward because I don't know my neighbors, but I see them all the time, and I didn't want them to think I was the weird guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always awkward to me. And I think I found this out in ministry. It's awkward reaching those that are closest to you. Was hardest reaching those. And I didn't know how it would go. And it actually went great. Like, all my every single one I talked to, it went great. And I was nervous for no reason. And, but I did have one that I was talking to, the last one I talked to, and she was just having a rough day. And she was like, man, thank you so much for coming by. Like, I really need this. I had a rough day. She was going through some things. And just me coming by, and she was saved. But just coming by, bringing the word of God and bringing that encouragement to let her know that, hey, God is with you through your struggles, kind of thing. And it was funny because me and her family, we had a lot of similar testimonies. So it was pretty neat, so it's important. But see, you won't be able to see God. And she said, thank you. I'm glad God sent you by here. So see, because she was a spiritual woman, so she was able to see that, hey, God is answering some prayers that I've been, and she even told me about a couple of examples where she had some prayers, and she felt at first, initially, she felt they wasn't being answered, and then God showed her the mighty way to answer them, So, but again, you can't see that or understand that concept if you don't have a close relationship with God. You don't have a close walk with God. If you're not frequently or consistently, I should say, walking in God's will. So that's what we talked about last week. The inability, disobedience takes you away from that. It keeps you out of God's will. It keeps you from having that close walk with the Lord, and it keeps you from being able to hear the Lord, see the Lord, or listen to the Lord when the Lord is telling you to do something. So you got to be careful with that. So again, those are just the 2 points that I covered last week. If they sound of interest to you, how you doing, Miss Alicia? So you came in here. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. You and Mr. Leo down there and Dixon. So again, if those interest you, you didn't catch your last week's video and they sound pretty interesting, you want to get the rest of what I talked about, please go back and check that video out. I think it's very helpful. So tonight, we're going to continue on through this. We're going to be in 1 Samuel. And y'all remember I read the verses last week. I read verses 10 through 23. And like I said, most of these next few points and next couple of lessons going to come from those same verses, whatnot. So I'm going to read them again tonight, but I'm not going to read all of them because tonight I hope y'all don't get upset at me, but I'm trying to do a quick lesson tonight. I know I always say that and we still end up here the whole time. But tonight, instead of doing 2, I know I've been trying to do 2 and 3 points, but tonight I'm just going to do 1. I had a really long day at work today, and I got another long one tomorrow. This is actually going to be a pretty long week because I'm covering on 2 fronts. I'm helping out in the lab, not because I have to, but because one of the young ladies that normally work in the lab is out on vacation this week. So they're going to be shorthanded, and there's some good people there, man. I love getting in the lab at least once or twice a week because that's my passion. This environmental stuff, I'm doing it because it pays more. But my passion is being in the lab, and with her being out, I'm helping. So I'm having to go in a lot earlier, and I'm having to stay a little longer because I'm still doing my environmental job as well. So I got plus tomorrow is my lost sheep ministry. So I got a long day tomorrow. So I'm trying to give y'all just 1 point. It should be short. It should be short. I ain't making no promises. I don't want to make some promises I can't keep, but it should be short. I'm going to give y'all 1 point tonight. I hope y'all won't beat me up because of it and let you get a little bit of your time back tonight. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pray so I can jump into it. Dear Lord and Father, thank you so much for watching over us today. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to get into this word. Thank you for giving this word to guide our heart, our mind, our steps, and helping guide our paths and down the path we need to go so we can do the work that you have for us to do, Lord. I thank you for putting this lesson on my heart tonight. I think it's a really good one. Of course, I think all of them is good. It's all good, to be honest. But I think this is a really important something that a lot of us, just majority of us, have dealt with or deal with on a daily basis. And I'm praying this lesson will open our eyes and help us see the dangers of this sin that we have, a disobedience that we tend to all indulge in, Lord. So I just pray you send your spirit down upon my heart as I bring this truth forward and give me the wisdom to say the words I need to say to maybe help someone else realize this, bring them under conviction about this thing that may be going on in their lives. And I pray you send your spirit down upon the hearts and the minds of those that are listening to this video, Lord. I pray you open their hearts and minds up. Let a seed be planted in their heart, and pray that you'll come along and cultivate that seed so it may grow into a bountiful crop, Lord. We just pray you be with us tonight. And again, pray you give me the strength and the energy I need to bring this truth forward. And I pray, as always, that you let your spirit guide this session and give me the words I need to say so I can continue to honor and glorify you and build your kingdom. We love you so very much, and thank you for all you've done and given it. And say this prayer in your wonderful Son, Jesus' name. Amen. Actually, I normally read before, but it's all good. As long as the reading and the prayer get done, it's all good. Listen, I had a rough day at therapy. Oh, man, I hate to hear that. Hope everything's going good and get better for you. I know that therapy, it tends to help out. I probably needed therapy when I was younger, but I never did go. But I've heard a lot of people that go to therapy is good. So hopefully it's helping. I know that'll help you with Mr. Leo and be able to get him to where he needs to be. So I'll be praying for y'all, all right? So again, I normally read first, but I forgot to read my verses. I just so ready to get into this prayer and jump into this lesson. Like I said, I'm just going to only prepare 1 point. So might be short. I ain't going to say it should be short. It might be short, but it might still be the normal length. We're going to see how it goes. I'm not going to belabor it, but I'm going to let the Spirit take over and do his thing. So again, if you got your Bible and you want to read along with 1 Samuel chapter 15, I'm going to read verses 10, and I'm actually going to stop at verse 19 because that's going to be the only one we need. I thought I was going to get the other couple of points in, which I would have to read the whole thing down to 23, but I'm only going to get to verse 19, the point that comes behind verse 19. So I'm going to read through there. So if the first time watching, the first time listening, I'm reading out the New Living Translation. So if you got a King James, you follow along and I ain't saying the same thing. That's why. But I am a King James believer wholeheartedly, but I do teach out the New Living Translation. Just makes it a lot easier. But of course, I always read both of them. And if the New Living Translation got some weird, funky stuff going on, which they tend to do, or leave some stuff out, I will alert you and let you know over in the King James Version, which I think I got one little verse that's going to do that tonight. So with that being said, I'm 1 Samuel chapter 15, verses 10 through 19 is what I'm going to read to you. And again, I know I read these the other week, but like I said, the lesson this week and most likely the lesson next week going to still come out of this same little group of verses. So in verse 10, the Lord tells us this. So then the Lord said to Samuel, I am sorry that I ever made Saul king, for he has not been loyal to me and has again refused to obey me. Samuel was so deeply moved when he heard this that he cried out to the Lord all night. That gave us point number 8 and 9 came from those verses. Then it said, verse 12 said, early the next morning, Samuel went to find Saul, and someone told him Saul went to Carmel to set up a monument to himself. Then he went on to Gilgal. Now, when Samuel finally found him, Saul greeted him cheerfully. May the Lord bless you, he said. I have carried out the Lord's command. And of course, we know he didn't. And that's when Samuel hit him. He said, then what is all the bleating of sheep and the lowing of cattle out here? Samuel demanded. It's true, the army spared the best of the sheep and cattle, Saul admitted, but they are going to sacrifice them to the Lord your God, and we have destroyed everything else. Then Samuel said to Saul, stop, listen to what the Lord told me last night. What was it? Saul asked. And Samuel told him, although you may think little of yourself, are you not the leader of the tribes of Israel? Now that's one right there, that verse 17 right there. That's one, if you read, you do got the New Living Translation of King James like I got, I will circle that and put King James Version because it says it a little different. And it actually goes back to our point, number 10, where we talk about being, I think I said pride was a curse, one of the curses of disobedience. I think that was point number 10. That was the title of point number 10. And the reason why I got that point is because if you read on the King James Version in verse 17, it says this. It said, and Samuel said, when thou wast little in thine own when thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel, and the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? So in other words, when your heart was humble, when you was humble, did I not make you king over Israel? But now you got prideful, and look at what you're doing. So that's basically what he's saying. So I will circle that, and because the way they translated it, it make it seem like it's saying, you thinking little of yourself, you're humble now. But it actually said in the beginning he was humble, but now he's not, he's prideful. So it shows that transition to him being prideful and humble, and that all came with disobedience, which I talked about. So I just wanted to, that's a little side note. So again, next verse, it says, so the Lord, the Lord had anointed you king of Israel. So verse 18 it said, and the Lord sent you on a mission and told you, go and completely destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, until they are all dead. So why haven't you obeyed the Lord? Why did you rush for the plunder and do exactly what the Lord said not to do? So that's going to be your point right there. Where I'm going to stop right there and notice that last line, our text verses, that last line where it says, verse 19, where it says, why haven't you obeyed the Lord? Why did you rush for the plunder and do exactly what the Lord said not to do? So point number 13, the only one I'm going to bring to y'all tonight, point number 13 is this. Another curse, one of the curses of disobedience. I've been sharing with y'all either the concepts of disobedience or the curses of disobedience. And there's going to be another one of the curse. So another one of the curses of disobedience is greed. That's one of the curses of disobedience. And I think all humanity at our core is selfish. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just about everything we do, every move we make is about self-preservation. I mean, you really, in order to survive, you kind of have to be selfish. You know what I'm saying? I think it's part of our selfishness is part of our natural instinct to survive. Because you got to be able to provide for yourself. You got to be able to eat. You got to be able to do the things that it takes to do to make it through in this world for you to survive, for your family to survive. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's kind of our animal nature, our core animal nature is to be a little bit selfish. So that's why when you see a lot of times, when you see like these celebrities or these rich people, and they always giving out charity, and you notice they always gotta make sure you see them giving it away. You know what I'm saying? Which is not the right way to do it, because you get in the Bible says the left hand should know what the right hand is doing. So if you're gonna give something to somebody, then you should, nobody should know. And you see it a lot. Like, I see a lot of these videos. It really makes me sick to my stomach. Like on YouTube and stuff like this, there'll be like a homeless person, and they record themselves giving the person food and all that, and recording it. I mean, and the gesture is good, but they've messed it up. They've ruined it by bringing the camera in and bringing everybody in. If you're gonna do that, just do it. You don't have to record it and post it for the world to see. But anyway, a lot of times when you see these celebrities and rich people doing this, you know what I'm saying, we automatically equate them giving to charities, we automatically equate them, feeding the homeless or saying, or whatever it is they doing, taking water to Africa, whatever they doing. When you see people that's willing to put in time and money to do these kind of things, we automatically equate that with them being good, even though a lot of times they aren't. You know what I'm saying? They aren't good. We equate that with them being good. Like, oh, this guy gave to this, and a lot of times they ain't. You know what I'm saying? I think of a example, and I hate using the example because I grew up watching this guy. But I mean, we look at Bill Cosby and what happened with him. You talk about Bill Cosby, they talk about oh, he gave so much money to black colleges and he gave so many scholarships and he put so many people through school and he set up all these programs and he did do all those things, but at the same time he was drugging women and raping them or at least taking advantage of them. You know what I'm saying? Because of his position. So yes, he had all the money. So it's easy to look over the bad when he's doing all this good. And a lot of times people use that, giving away their money, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff to mask who they truly are. And we got to understand that, you know what I'm saying? And so when we see people giving away stuff, but the reason why we automatically assume they good, because that's going against what I was talking about earlier, their natural animal instinct, which is to preserve themselves. It's going away like, oh, he's giving away all this money. He could be spending on himself. He could be doing this. He must, or she, it could be a she, you know what I'm saying? Because those are only two genders. So he or she giving away all these things, they must be good people. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, some really only do that. They only give away the money and give away these things and feed them. They only do that just so they can have the perception of them being good. They're really truly trying to mask who they truly are. And a lot of times we see that, you know what I'm saying? So you think about it, when we already naturally have a selfish nature, like I said, to preserve ourselves. So you take that selfish nature that we already have, was the animal instinct we already have, and you combine that with sin, that's when you get greed. You know what I'm saying? We already have that self, and I think, and like I said, that is good to have that. We were built to have that, but then when you throw sin on top of it, I think that's when it becomes greed. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when it becomes, give me more, I want more, you know what I'm saying? I want it all for myself. That's when you had the Monopoly game. I never have been able to be good at Monopoly because I'm all about just helping others. You know what I'm saying? But everybody ain't like that. And the only reason why I'm like that is because I had so many help me. It's not just I'm just a good person, a good natured person. I've just had so many people help me that if I get an opportunity to help others, I do my best, you know what I'm saying, give whatever little I got to do so, even if it hurts me at times. And we have done that. We've taken in so many strays. My kids have joked, and y'all probably heard me say this before, but my kids always joke like, man, if we ever just took care of our family, we'd probably be rich, But I've always had somebody tagging along, somebody outside of my wife and kids that I've been taking care of, and I've been doing it for years. You know what I'm saying? For years. And I don't know my story. When I was in college, I adopted my younger brother. I mean, he's my brother, he's family, but that wasn't my kid. I adopted him as you know what I'm saying, as he was mine. I took care of him as I was his dad. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, so when you see people do stuff like that, you automatically assume they're good, and it's not always true. Some people do it, like I said, they do it just to cover up how terrible they really are. You know what I'm saying? But again, when you take that natural selfishness that we have in us, that natural instinct to self-preserve, and you mix sin in with it, that's when you get greed. Because even if you think about it, if you go back and you look at the original sin, which we all know about, the original sin, which is Adam and Eve eating the fruit, if you think about it, both of those elements are there. Disobedience and greed. They're both there. Matter of fact, the greed is what's caused the disobedience. That's why I say greed is a curse of disobedience, because that greed is what caused the disobedience. Because you think about it, go back to the conversation that Lucifer had, or the snake had, or whatever you want to call it, had with Eve. What did he do? You know what I'm saying? Think about it. God had already given them everything. They had given them everything. He gave them every single thing on earth except for one tree. And they wasn't happy with that. See, that's greed. They wasn't content with what they had. They were content with what God gave them. And you know what I'm saying? And who put did God say? And even the way have God said? Did God say you can't have none of this fruit? And then what Eve said, oh no, I can have some of this fruit. I can have all the fruit. He said, just that one tree. I can't eat from that one tree because that's God's. You know what I'm saying? We got everything else that's God. That's basically what she said. That's God's. And he said, don't eat from it or we're going to die. And then what Lucifer said, you ain't going to die. God just know if you eat it, you're going to be just like him. In other words, you're going to be God. You know what I'm saying? God already gave you dominion and power over everything on the earth. He's already given you all that. He just ain't giving you power over him or equal power with him. And the devil convinced her that if she take that fruit, then she'll be equal with God. And and the world is still doing it today. That's one of the main religions, quote unquote, today is humanism. We folks believing they their own God, they are God. You know what I'm saying? Well, I can manifest. They talk about manifesting all that weird stuff. I'm like, man, I don't manifest nothing. I pray for it. I pray for it and pray that it happen, but I don't manifest nothing because I'm not God. You see what I'm saying? And the world is still towing that line that we are God to this day, that the same original sin. So you look back at the original sin, both of those elements was there, greed and disobedience. And like I said, the greed is what causes disobedience. And what he say, God, you ain't gonna die. Girl, you ain't gonna die. God just know if you eat that fruit, you're gonna be just like him. And you know what I'm saying? And when he said that, when she realized that she can get the same power that God had, that greed, you see what I'm saying? He appeased to that greed nature, that natural self-preservation, that natural selfishness we already had. And she's like, oh, I can just get, not only have all this stuff, I can have it all for myself. Oh yeah, she was on it. She was on it. And what she do? She took out the fruit, and then she went and she took some to Adam, and that started the whole cycle. That was a sin right there. So you see, the greed was in the very beginning. The greed was in the very beginning. It was her greed to have the same power, have more power, and have more control over the things that God had than what God had already given them that made her commit that sin. So we have to understand how important it is to watch out for that greed. We got to understand how detrimental that greed is to our health. You know what I'm saying? Because, that leader, this is something I did some little research before I got this. Don't you know that the leading cause of death in America is heart disease? That's number one. More people die from heart disease than anything else. And then number 5 is stroke. Now, I know all of it ain't always due to obesity and overeating, because there's been several cases where athletes that's completely healthy, eat good, has just died. And I mean, there's several cases where that's happened. But a majority of the people that die from heart disease, the majority of the people that die from stroke also are obese. You know what I'm saying? The obesity plays a big role. They you know what I'm saying? There's some, like I said, yes, there's some that just bad ticker or whatever, just that health was poor, whatever, maybe it's hereditary, but a majority of it comes from obesity. In other words, being greedy. You got to think about the top 2 killers of human beings in this country is due to stuff that can be easily solved solution if we just ate right, or we just ate better, or we just didn't eat so much, or if we wasn't so greedy. I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think that's a coincidence that those 2 top, because you would think it'd be like, you would think it'd be something like, and actually cancer was number 2. And you really think about it, you can attribute that to greed as well, because the one thing that cancer feed off is sugar. You know what I'm saying? And with a lot of time in our diet, all these carbs and stuff we eat, we have a lot of sugar in our diet. That's why, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, that's why if anybody know cancer or did cancer, when they do the dye, they put the dye into your veins or whatever, that's basically like some radioactive sugar, basically, because that's what the cancer feeds on. So they put that in there, and when the cancer soaks up that sugar, then they can tell where the cancer is at. You see what I'm saying? So again, really, if you look at that, and again, not all cases have this. Some people just got exposed to radiation somehow, whatever. Not everybody have that, but still, the top 3 killers of human beings in America has something to do with just being greedy. And I can't say nothing, because y'all see all this. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've been working on it. That's why I work out. That's why I've been eating better, because I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, straighten out my ways, change my wicked ways, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think there's a coincidence that, again, the top 3 killers of people in America has something to do with greed and obesity. You know what I'm saying? That's insane because that's like I said, it's in our nature to be greedy. It's in our nature to want more for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at the text, you can see that's what happened to them. They was greedy because what did he say? He said, you know what I'm saying? He said, it's true that the army spared the best of the sheep and the cattle, Saul admitted, but they are going to sacrifice it to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So they try to use this. Oh, we're gonna give it to God. You know what I'm saying? It ain't so bad. We'll give it to God. So then he said, cause I'm gonna read the whole thing, but he said, the Lord gave you a mission and said, go and completely destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, until they are all dead. So why haven't you obeyed the Lord? Why did you rush for the plunder and do exactly what the Lord said not to do? See, they was greedy. You know what I'm saying? They went there and they were like, man, why God gonna have us destroy all this good cattle and get rid of all this gold and all this stuff, man? We might well take it. We can sacrifice some to him. And that's what we do when we want to do wrong. We justify us doing wrong. And that's what they did. They justified their greed. But you're going to realize God don't play like that. God is not mocked. If he told you to do something and he gave you a specific thing to do and you don't do it, then you're going to have to pay the price. And we're going to see over the next couple of lessons with Saul, he's going to pay the ultimate price because he's going to lose God's grace on his life because of that. And that's what happened. Their greed is what got them. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to understand, that's the deceitfulness of riches. You know what I'm saying? That's the deceitfulness. It makes you feel like you're gaining and you winning when you're really losing. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember, I'm from North Memphis. Y'all know I'm from North Memphis. Y'all know I've said it enough. And I remember, and I was one of the poor kids in the neighborhood because my mom was on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I remember, man, looking at the drug dealers, all the dudes that ran the neighborhood. They, you know, I go into the store and they stand up this big old knot of money. And I'm like, man, you know, as a child, you know what I'm saying, not unwise, like, man, I wish I had that. Man, I wish I can do that. Man, I wish I could have a fat knot like that. And I only saw their riches. I only saw their riches, but I didn't see what was going on behind the scene. I couldn't see the turmoil in their life. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those guys that I used to be so envious of, now they're either dead, they're in prison, or they're on the same stuff that they were selling. You see what I'm saying? A lot of them, the same crack that they were selling is what they got on, and they look bad. You know what I'm saying? Same dudes I used to be jealous of, I see them now, I'm like, God dang. You know, I can't believe he fell off like that. See what I'm saying? And that's what riches do. It deceives you. It makes you feel like you're winning because you got the money, you got the cars, you got the clothes, you got the fame, you got the girls or the boys, whatever your preference is. You got all these things, but you don't realize what you're really missing, and that's the love of God, the grace of God. You know what I'm saying? And that's what reason I said, because Matthew talks about this over in Mark. Not I said Matthew. Mark talks about this over in Mark chapter 4. It talks about the deceitfulness of riches. You know what I'm saying? And that's what greed will do. It'll deceive you, just like what it did with Eve. It deceived her. Oh man, just go ahead and I know God gave you all this, but you can have everything and you can be just like him. You know what I'm saying? You can be just like God. But if you go over to Mark chapter 4, verses 18 and 19, it talks about this. So over here is an illustration that Jesus was giving, and he was talking about the farmer. I'm not going to go through the whole story. I just want to get to this one little part. And I'm going to read the King James version over it. In verses 18 and 19. So he goes through basically, you know what I'm saying, a farmer went out and planted some seeds, and the seeds fell on different kind of soil. You know what I'm saying? It fell on some good soil. It fell on like some, I think some thorny soil. It fell on like some rocky soil. And then some fell on a path where nothing, you know what I'm saying, the seeds weren't able to germinate at all. You know, so then it talks about the people that, and then, you know, and of course it was an example Jesus was given about different people in their walks of faith. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not going to belabor it. Go back and read the Mark chapter 4, a great story. But I'm going to get to the main point here because, like I said, I'm trying to keep it short tonight. So over in verse 18, he said, and these are they which are sown among the thorns. So this was the ones that fell on the thorny soil. He said, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things entering in, choke out the word, and it becometh unfruitful. So in other words, they heard the word, it touched their heart. You know, they might have even got saved, but then the deceitfulness of riches came along. The lust for the things of this world came along. So even though they got saved, they never did really produce fruit because they was more concerned with making money, and they was more concerned with buying houses and having cars and clothes and all those things than they were serving the Lord. You see what I'm saying? So again, that's what riches do. It's deceitful. It makes you feel like you're winning when in reality you're losing. You know what I'm saying? Because when I'm out soul winning, when I'm out soul winning, I already told y'all the first thing I always ask people is, are they going to church, involved in church? I don't never come straight out, Jesus Christ your Savior. I don't know why. Just changing it up is a big deal, but it is. If you ask people straight out, they know Jesus Christ Savior, they don't talk to you. But if you can get them talking about church first and then going to Jesus, it works. So that's what I always do. I always ask people, are you currently going to church? Are you involved in kind of church? That's what I always do. That's how I started off. And one of the main reason I get from people, and it ain't just unsaved people, that are saved, that don't go to church, one of the main excuses I get, oh man, I work all the time. That's what I get. I work all the time. Now, if you got a good church, a good church has church Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night. There's no way you working that much where you working, you can't get to one of those. Now, you could be if you're working 2 jobs or so, maybe, if you're doing that, but most people ain't working that during hard where they can't get to one of those services. You know what I'm saying? You're working Sunday night, you should be able to get to Sunday morning. And if you're working Sunday morning, you should be able to get to Sunday night. You should be able to get to one of those. You know what I'm saying? If you really wanted to serve the Lord, but most people just, I just work too much and they don't realize what they're doing. They're exchanging time in the presence of God for a few dollars that ain't going to last very long. You know what I'm saying? That's all you're exchanging your time for something that's temporary when you can be spending your time with something that's eternal. You see what I'm saying? You spend your time working all this, killing yourself to make these Mondays last, these little few dollars that ain't gonna last long. When you could be spending time with God and doing something that would last forever. You know what I'm saying? That's this statement my pastor used to make all the time. He says, only one life will soon be passed. Only what's done for God will last. You see what I'm saying? In other words, I don't care what you accomplish on this earth. I don't care, how many cures you come up with. I don't care, what you do. If you're not doing those things for God, it ain't going to matter in the end. It's not going to last. Anything you do for this world and the earthly thing you do for the world is not going to last. The only thing that's done for God will last. And the thing is, when you do something for God, it lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? But yet we put so much effort into getting our bank accounts built up and getting our houses bought and these cars bought, and it ain't gonna get us nowhere. It's not really gonna do anything for us eternally. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why is because the world has convinced us that money is the only way to have happiness. You know what I'm saying? That's and it's got us so convinced that we'll kill ourselves, to get it, kill ourselves and others to get it. I mean, how many people you've seen die in robberies and things of that nature because this world has convinced us that money is the key. If you want to be happy, you got to have money. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is, if you look at most people with money, they're miserable. I know a lot of people with money because I work, the field I work in, a lot of people most of the people I hang around or work around make 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? If not 7. And they are some of the most miserable people I know. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I know people that can barely put in 20, 30,000, and they're some of the happiest people I know. Because money is not the key. You know what I'm saying? Money is not the key. And a lot of times we don't realize when we're working to stack up this money, when we're working to build this money, we're working to give into our greed, it's really hurting us. It's really hurt us. Solomon talked about it over in Ecclesiastes, the book of Ecclesiastes. He kind of mentions this. I love the book of Ecclesiastes because it's basically everything is worthless. Everything is futile. It says that until you get down to the very last part, and then he hit you with the, he hit you with the main reason, which is to serve God. And I love it. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 13 through 14. Is what I'm looking for. 13 to 14. Where we at? 13. Yeah. Oh, here you go. He said, there is another serious problem I have seen in the world. Riches are sometimes hoarded to the home of the saver, or they are put into risky investment that turn sour and everything is lost in the end. There's nothing left to pass on to their children. So right there in King James, he says, I like the way he put it. He said, there is a sore evil which I have seen. I like that version of it better. He said, there is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches kept for the owners thereof to their own hurt. But those riches perish by evil travail, and he begetteth a son, and there is nothing in his hand. See, he said, you know what I'm saying? You sitting there doing all this, stacking all these riches up, trying to make all this money, and it's all to your own hurt. You know what I'm saying? And you see that, and what he's saying is, because we don't understand, greed can hurt you physically, and it can hurt you spiritually. And that was what I'm saying. It can hurt you physically and it can hurt you spiritually. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you think about, what did Jesus say about money? Jesus himself said, he said, the love of money is the root of all evil. And a lot of people misquote that. That's why it's so important for you to get into your Bible. A lot of people misquote that. They said money is the root of all evil. It don't say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money. And it's important because money is a tool. Money can't be evil. It's the way we use money that's evil. It's the way that we worship money that's evil because we love it so much. It's the things that we do to get the money that's evil. But it says the love of money is the root of all evil. That means everything that happens bad that happens in this world, all the evil that happens in this world goes right back to money. That is insane. That is insane. And you would think with us knowing that, we would just get rid of money and get rid of the evil. But we're so stupid. We're so blinded by the allure of it. Because somebody with money would say, oh, that's something a broke person to say. You know what I'm saying? But because we're so deceived by the riches that we don't realize that it's really our downfall. It's what really brings the evil into our world. You know what I'm saying? And there's several examples of people being hurt about money throughout the Bible. I'm not going to go through. I got about 4 of them wrote down. I'm not going to go through all of them because, again, I want to keep y'all short time tonight. But there's several examples, if you go through the Bible, where people were hurt physically because of their greed and also spiritually. One of them, I think about, there was a situation where Elisha, he had a servant named Gehazi. And y'all know, I've shared the story before. I probably talked about it last week because it's a great story. But there was a guy named Naaman. In case you don't know who I'm talking about, you don't read your Bible, but there was this guy, he was like a general in the Syrian army. His name was Naaman, you know what I'm saying? And he had leprosy. So long story short, basically he had this Israelite little girl that was captive in his house, and she kind of mentioned like, man, I wish he would go to Israel, to Elisha, because he would heal him of his leprosy, kind of thing. So, heal him of his leprosy. Sorry, I got people calling me. They know I'm preaching right now. But they said, he'll heal him of his leprosy. So long story short, Naaman comes. He brings like all kind of gifts that he want to give to Elisha or whatever to be healed of his leprosy. But Elisha didn't want to accept it. You know what I'm saying? So Elisha told him to go dip yourself 7 times in the Jordan. You'll be healed. Your skin will be just like it was when you were a baby. So he went and did it. And you know what I'm saying? Reluctantly, but he went and did it. And when he did it, he went and dipped himself 7 times, came back out. His skin said it was fresh. It said it was smooth as a baby's bottom. You know what I'm saying? So he was so happy he was so full of joy that he went back to Elisha. He was like, man, let me give you, you know what I'm saying, some of these clothes I brought or some of this money I brought. I brought it for you. I just want to give you this gift because of what you did. And Elisha like, no, I don't want it. Keep your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Keep it to yourself. So Naaman, he takes some dirt and other stuff and then he leaves. So his Elisha's servant Gehazi was greedy. So he's like, man, I'm the same thing that Saul them said. Man, how we going to let them get away with all that money and not we just did this thing, man. We need that money. And they might have been broke because most men of God are broke. I can attest to that. So they might have been broke. He's like, well, how can we be broke and he going to let them get away? Let me go get some of that. So he goes and chases Naaman down and lies and say, oh, my master had some people come in and, you know what I'm saying, and he didn't realize they was coming in. So he wants some of that money and clothes to give to these people. You know what I'm saying? So kid Naaman, he was happy. Like, he asked for one portion and Naaman said, no, man, take double of that. So he gives Gehazi the money. Gehazi hides the money and then go back to Elisha. And Elisha like, what was you at? And again, so you see the greed, how, you know what I'm saying, that's a sin of disobedience. Because first of all, he wasn't supposed to go get the money because Elisha had already told him no. So then he goes back and he lies. Elisha was like, what was you say? Oh, I wasn't nowhere. What you talking about? So Elisha told him, oh, you didn't think I saw you when you went back up to Naaman and he came down off his horse and gave you that money? And then he asked him, like, is this the time to receive money? Is this the time to receive gifts? You know what I'm saying? This ain't like basically, y'all probably heard that saying before. This ain't crown wearing time. This cross bearing time. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, no, it's time for all that. He said, I tell you what, since you did that, the leprosy that I just cured, naming of, now it's going to be on you and your entire family. So in that moment, it said he got struck down with leprosy. So not only him, his entire, every generation behind him ended up having leprosy because he was greedy. You see what I'm saying? He cursed his whole bloodline because he was greedy. And that's, again, we do the same thing, and we don't realize that. Another example, there was a situation when David was running from Saul, and we'll get to it eventually if I can stop running my mouth so much. But he was running from Saul, and while he was out there in the wilderness, there was this guy named Nabal who was rich, had a whole lot of sheep and stuff. So he kept the people, back in the day, they just jacked you. You know what I'm saying? They just took what you wanted. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't have an army or something like that, protecting you, the people just come in and take your stuff. So David kept them from getting robbed, basically. So he figured, I'll protect this dude and his herd. So when the sheep shearing, that's when they get paid. They sell the wood and all that. That's when the money come in. So David figured I'd protect him. He should break me off a little something. So David sends, his dudes to go collect, like, hey man, we protecting you folks in the woods, you should throw us a little something. And dude was so greedy, like, who is David? I didn't ask him to do that. You know what I'm saying? Now common courtesy, and if the person had wisdom, they were like, you know what? He did keep him, let me break you off a little something. You know what I'm saying? But he was greedy. He didn't want to part with his little money, and he like, who is David? Why should I give him anything? So David's message went back like, man, this is what dude said. So David was pissed. So he's like, all right, let's go. So he's like, you know what I'm saying? So he said, strap on your swords, and we about to go, and we're gonna it said something, the way he quoted, I'm misquoted, but he said by the morning he won't have one left that pisses against the wall. In other words, every male in that dude's family was about to die. You know what I'm saying? David was pissed. He was about to die. But luckily, the dude had a wise wife. Her name was Abigail. So when she found out what her husband did, she kind of went behind his back and got some food and some stuff together to send it to David. And she sent her servants and said, take this to David. And she went herself. And of course, David came and she talked to David and she persuaded David not to go and kill her husband and destroy her house or whatever. And David was just like, man, thank you for being so wise. He said, because I'm telling you, had I got there and you not came out, everybody would have been dead. Everybody was about to get it. You know what I'm saying? So that happened. David don't go and kill the person. So the guy, when the wife get back, her name was Abigail. So she get back in the bone. Of course, he's making money and all that. He's celebrating, he's drinking, popping bottles. You know how y'all do. You know what I'm saying? He out there popping bottles with all his folks. I'm sorry, y'all. Something biting me. I think I got a mosquito here. Something biting the crap out of me. But anyway, so he's out there popping bottles. He's drunk. So his wife like, well, ain't no point in talking to him now. I'll wait till tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? To tell him what I did. Cause she did it to save the family, but she wasn't doing it like sneak like she was going to tell him. She was like, I'm going to tell him about it. You know what I'm saying? But when she got back, he was drunk. So she's like, it ain't no point. So the next morning when he got up and he was sober, she told him what happened. And right when that happened, guess what happened? He got hit with a stroke. Right when she told him what happened, I don't know if he got mad. Matter of fact, I'm talking about strokes and stuff killing people. You know what I'm saying? He ended up having a stroke, and then he was basically paralyzed for like 10 days or something. Then 10 days later, he died. And then guess what happened? David went and took his wife. And he ended up married. I think that was his second wife that he took. He ended up marrying this girl, Abigail, and had some kids with her. You know what I'm saying? So, but we see the situation of Baal, had he not been so greedy, he wouldn't have went through that. You know what I'm saying? Had he not been so greedy, because either he was going to go, luckily the Lord, and that's what Abigail told. She said, you got a good name. Don't go get this vengeance on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't put this mark on your record because this guy's not worth it. He's a fool. Matter of fact, his name suggests that he's a fool. You see what I'm saying? So the Lord took care of it for David, and that's what God will do. He'll take care of his people. If somebody doing his people wrong, he got your back, and he's proved that to me several times. You know what I'm saying? So David didn't have to do it, but either way it go, God did it, but he got some kind of physical harm because he didn't want to attach. He wanted to attach for that money. So we can see those two examples where people were hurt physically, but you can also see where people were hurt spiritually. You know what I'm saying? You remember there was a situation where Jesus was preaching. And this guy, you know what I'm saying, he got a conviction, and he had the spirit on him. You know what I'm saying? He had the spirit on him, and he got under conviction, and he was just like, man, teacher, you know what I'm saying, what must I do He told Jesus, what must I do to be saved? You know what I'm saying? To get to heaven. And what did Jesus say? He said, go, he said, just obey the commandments. And do like, and then he popping his collar like, oh, well, I've done that since I was little. I've always done that. He said, oh yeah, there's one more thing. Go give away everything you got and come follow me. And what happened? He said the dude ran off crying. You see what I'm saying? It said the dude ran off crying because he was rich. And when after that happened, Jesus turned around and said to him, he said, it's impossible for a rich man to get into heaven. He says it's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. Think about that. An eye of a needle. I've tried to get thread, which is made to go through an eye of a needle. Sometimes it's impossible because my big fat fingers, you know what I'm saying? Or the thread is too thick. And if you think about a camel, just the hair on the camel's back, to even get a strand of hair from the camel's back through the needle of the thread would probably be impossible. And the Lord says it's easier to get a whole camel through the eye of a needle than it is for the rich man to get into heaven. But yet we all strive to be rich. You see the irony in it? Yeah, we all strive to get, yeah, we out here killing ourselves. I remember I used to work 100 hours a week. Now, mine wasn't to be rich. It was just because I had too many kids. I like to have a little fun. You know what I'm saying? I had a little too much fun in my younger years, so I had all these kids to feed. But still, I remember working literally 100 hours a week, not every 2 weeks. 100. I was working 2 full-time jobs at one point, and in both of them, if the opportunity to work overtime came up, I took it. So I was working 2 full-time jobs at one point. I did it for like a year or so, killing myself to get money. And that's what we do. We kill ourselves to get rich because we think money is happiness, but really it's just that riches are deceiving us. You see what I'm saying? And the Lord said himself, it's impossible for a rich man to get to heaven. And the reason why is because most people that have money, that's what they depend on, their riches. Like y'all know I go soul winning. When I go soul winning, I go to low income areas. It's not because they so stupid that they're easy to be deceived. And you know what I'm saying? They easily to believe I can easily convince them that Jesus is real because they're so stupid. That's not it. It's because poor people have had those nights where they didn't have food in their refrigerator and all of a sudden they praying and some food came through. You know what I'm saying? They've had nights where their electricity about to get cut off and all of a sudden they go to the mailbox and it's a check and just enough to cover their electricity. Poor people have seen the hand of God where rich people haven't. They've always been able to get by on their riches. And that's why Jesus said, because they put more faith in their riches than they do him. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said it's hard for a rich man to get into heaven. It's easy to get a camel through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get to heaven, because most rich people depend on their riches for them to get by. They don't put no faith in the Lord. And that's why when I go soul winning, I only go to like low income neighborhoods because I know I'll be able to have an actual conversation with somebody that's seen the hand of God in their life. Most rich people, they don't even want to talk about God. They think they're good enough. I'm good. I'm straight. You see what I'm saying? And they don't understand how deceitful they is. So this dude had an opportunity. He could have been one of the apostles. He could have been one of the disciples. He could have been one of the 12 that we still talk about today. But he turned that down because he didn't want to give his money up. Greed. So he got hurt spiritually. And I don't even know if he was saved or not, because he's asked, what can I do to get saved? And when Jesus told him, obey all commandments, oh, I did that. Well, give away all your money. He said he ran away crying. So I don't even know he was saved or not. So he might have to spend eternity in hell because of his greed. You know what I'm saying? We got another one. It was in Luke. I'm going to read this one in Luke chapter 12. Another situation where a guy's greed got the best of him and he had to suffer spiritually. In Luke chapter 12, there's a story of this farmer, and he had a lot of money. Matter of fact, it's called The Rich Fool. Luke chapter 12, verses 13 through 21. It's called The Story of the Rich Fool. So it said, then someone called from the crowd, teacher, please tell my brother to divide our father's estate with me. And Jesus replied, so there was no bickering over money. So Jesus replied, friend, who made me a judge over you to decide such things as that? Then he said, beware, don't be greedy for what you don't have. Real life is not measured by how much we own. And he gave an illustration. He said, a rich man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops. In fact, his barns were full to overflowing. So he said, I know, I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I have room enough to store everything. And I'll sit back and say to myself, my friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy. Eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, you fool, you will die this very night. Then who will get it all? Yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with God. So you see what I'm saying? He called that dude a fool, but he was rich. And that's always our excuse for anybody. Oh, he's rich. He got money. So we think that excuse him, but God don't care about your money. Like Jesus said, life is more than about money. It's more than about stacking on material things. It's about living a life and having a close relationship with him so he can use you in a way that'll bring others to him. And that's what people don't understand. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand. So again, that's because of the deceitfulness of riches. The riches make us think, you know what I'm saying, money. Because you got to think about it. If money solved everything, if money was the true root to happiness, why do you have so many people that have money, these celebrities that kill themselves? Why are they always in and out of rehab? Why are they always drugged out? You see what I'm saying? Money don't bring you happiness. Actually, it's just like Big and Small said. The more money you have, the more problems you're going to have. You know what I'm saying? It's a concept I always tell my boys, and I hope they still follow it. But I always told them, and I even do it to this day. Like my wife, we got a bank account. She can see the bank account if she wants to, but she don't bother with it. But I don't tell her how much I make. Like she knows how much I make. She know I make a decent amount, but she don't know exactly how much I make. You know what I'm saying? When I get bonus, I don't tell her. I put it in the bank account so she can see it if she wants to, but she don't. And the reason why, because I told my son, I said, never tell another person what's in your pocket. Because the moment you tell them what's in your pocket, they're going to try to figure out a way to get it in their pocket. So I've always taught my sons that never let somebody know what's in your pocket. So when you see folks, niggas on Instagram, they got the money phones and you see these rappers. I remember Floyd Mayweather used to walk around with a bag with $1 million on it and bragged on it. You know what I'm saying? But look at him now. You know what I'm saying? Look at the stuff he go through now. A lot of those dudes that do that, they end up broke because somebody didn't got that money from them. You see what I'm saying? Because of greed. And that's what you got to understand. And greed, you know what I'm saying, not only does it hurt you physically and spiritually, it causes disagreements. You know what I'm saying? If you go over to Proverbs chapter 29, I normally have my stuff highlighted already, but I don't know. I did not put my stickers in tonight, y'all. So it's taking me a little long to get there. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 29. It tells us about that. Tells us what greed does. It said greed causes fighting and trusting the Lord leads to prosperity. You know what I'm saying? Greed, we think greed is going to lead to prosperity. No, trusting the Lord is what leads to prosperity. Greed leads to disagreements. You know what I'm saying? Think about how many people you've seen. Like I had a friend of mine, and he ended up, he created this little music box thing. Like it was basically like a studio. It was called the Beat thing, I believe it was called. But anyway, dude really heavily into music. This thing, him and two other friends of his, they end up, you know what I'm saying, this thing ended up taking off. Like to this day, if you ever want some good music equipment, look up Icon Pro. The guy that makes it, I know him. The guy that created, he's an electrical engineer, created this stuff. I mean, phenomenal equipment if you're trying to like build studio, do records or whatever. So that's a plug for my guy. But anyway, so him and these three buddies, they come up with this music equipment, this little beatbox thing, and they end up blowing up. You know what I'm saying? And they got paid. He told me, he said, man, I went from making like $3,000. I think he said $3,000 a month to like $30,000 a month. He said it was insane. It was almost overnight. And you know what I'm saying? So it blew up. And when he was talking about it, he said, man, he said, when that money hit, he said, man, my partners went insane. You know what I'm saying? And he started telling me about what one dude did and one other dude did. He said, the only thing, the reason why I didn't lose my mind and the reason why I stayed grounded, because I had a good foundation, because I had a good father, you know, a good, strong father in my life. And he said, so when it started blowing up, and him and his friends, I mean, I don't even think they talk much now. He said, when they started blowing up, he said they just started losing their mind. He said, but what kept me grounded was the fact that I had a father in my life and I used his concepts. The concept of my father. He said, if it wasn't for my father, he said, I would have went the same way. He said, because the thing I found out about money, he said, it only enhances the things that you have. He said, if you're an alcoholic, it's going to make it that much worse. He said, you know what I'm saying, if you are into drugs, whatever you have is going to enhance whatever problem you have. He said, but if you're a good person, it's going to enhance that as well because you're just going to give it away. You're going to give more. He said, but whatever your true nature, money is going to enhance that thing. And like I said earlier, most of us, our true nature is rooted in sin. And that's why he usually takes us away from God instead of bringing us closer to God. And we have to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Think about the people that win the lottery. How many stories? Because I used to watch this show called I Won the Lottery. And think about how many times people run the lottery and their families got destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Stop losing friends. You know what I'm saying? I watch a lot of interviews with people. They talk about how, people that they thought was down for them on day one that was solid, when they got their money, they start acting funny. You know what I'm saying? A lot of celebrities, a lot of people that end up becoming, especially if they started off broke and ended up rich, a lot of times those people, the people that they started off with, their friends, they don't even have friends. Most of their friends are new friends. And most of their friends are other people with money. They can't hang around broke people no more. You see what I'm saying? Because it causes more problems. It causes a lot of disagreement. You have a lot of people feeling, oh man, I gave you a piece of bubble gum one time when you was in elementary school because you want to talk to this girl, your breath was stinky, and you end up marrying her, so you should be giving me $50,000. A lot of people did one little favor for you and they feel that you owe them. You know what I'm saying? And then because you don't pay them, now it's a disagreement. Now they hating on you. Now they out there putting your dirt in the street. That's what greed does. And you got to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Greed not only does that, it'll turn your heart away from God. You know what I'm saying? It'll turn your heart away from God. Look in Matthew chapter, I know I said I won't say long, y'all. I'm trying to finish it up, but I got to get these last couple little points in. Matthew chapter, 23? Matthew 23, verses 25 and 26. Right there. Matthew 23, it'll turn your heart away from God. Matthew 23, verses 25 through 26. It says here, how terrible it would be for you teachers of religious law and you Pharisees, you hypocrites. No, I'm at 27. I went the wrong one. He said, how terrible it would be for you teachers of religious law and you Pharisees, hypocrites. You are like whitewashed tombs. No, that ain't the one I wanted. What I got wrote down? 25 and 26. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I'm find my place here. How terrible it would be for you teachers of religious law and you Pharisees, hypocrites. You are so careful to clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside you are filthy, full of greed and self-indulgence. What we were talking about earlier. He said, you blind Pharisees, first wash the inside of the cup and then the outside will become clean too. And of course, you know what a Pharisee is. They're the higher up, those uppity church people. Those would be what we consider the deacons of the church or the elders. And Jesus was telling them they were some of the worst people in there because they was greedy. You see what I'm saying? They was greedy. And we saw that, think about Judas. Why did Judas betray Jesus? For a bag of silver, 30 pieces of silver. It was money. This dude he walked and taught and ate, and you know what I'm saying, with God himself. And yet he betrayed him over a little funky bag of silver. You know what I'm saying? And we saw the same thing happen with Solomon. Solomon was said to be one of the wisest kings to ever live. One of the wisest kings to ever live. But yet he had so much abundance. You know what I'm saying? He had 1,000 wives. How could that? I think it was 700 wives and 300 concubines. Somehow it was all I can't remember the ratio, but it ended up being over 1,000. How is that not greedy? And what happened to him? Because he had so many wives, he had to take pleasure in so many women that those women in the end, took his heart away from him, and he ended up worshiping idols. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, his son suffered, and everybody that came behind him suffered because of the greed. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important to be obedient. That's why it's so, because when you're obedient, it helps you avoid these traps. That's what obedience. That's what I try to tell people all the time. The Bible's not a book saying do this, or else. It's saying, hey, if you do this, you're going to avoid this trouble. If you don't do this, you're going to avoid this drama. You know what I'm saying? It's not trying to keep you from having fun. That's why Jesus said, he said, I came to give you life and to give it more abundantly. You know what I'm saying? In other words, if you stay away from these, if you do these things I tell you to do, your life is going to be great. If you don't do these things that I'm telling you not to do, then your life is going to be great. But if you be disobedient, you're going to bring these curses in your life. And one of those curses is greed. You know what I'm saying? And you really have to be humble and self-aware to be able to avoid that trap. You know what I'm saying? J. Cole, which is one of my favorite artists, he's in my top 5. One of my favorite. He's one of the people I listen to all the time. Still disappointed in the whole what he did with the Kendrick beef stuff and made the rap and then apologized that broke my heart when he did that. But still one of my favorites. And he got this lyric that he said, and I might misquote it. I should have looked it up before I put this together, and I'm saying it out memory. But he said something to the fact, he said, how can a rich father teach humbleness to his son, to his seed? Yeah, that was it. How can a rich father teach humbleness to his seed? How much paper can you stack before it becomes greed? You see what I'm saying? That's self-awareness. I realize, like, how much can you stack? You know what I'm saying? I got 100 million. I'm still out here grinding, trying to get 100 million more. You see what I'm saying? Because you have to understand, whatever, and this is when, like I was talking to my buddy Rev, this is something he told me, and you know what I'm saying, this is something you got to understand. Whatever your thing is, whatever it is that's your thing, whatever it is that you like to indulge in, you will never have enough of it. And that's what I'm saying. Because like I said, we all have that self gratification. We all have that selfishness in our heart, in our core. You know what I'm saying? And God will remove that and give you the heart to want to do for others. And that's what he's done for me for these last 20 years, and I thank him for it. It's not because I'm a good dude. It's because I've just started walking the way that the Lord wanted me to walk. That's the only way I'm able to do it. But whatever it is, your thing is, you will never have enough of it. If money is your thing, you will never have enough. You'll tell yourself, oh, if I just get $1 million. And then you get $1 million, you're like, oh, but what if I can get 2 million? And then you get 2 million, you're like, oh, what if I can get 4? You know, if you get 100 million, you want 200. There would never be, if money is your thing, if that's what you put all your trust in, if that's what your heart is content, and to get money, you will never have enough money. Because the moment you see that somebody got more money than you, you're gonna want that money. You want to be number one. You're gonna want to have more money than them. You know what I'm saying? Same with cars. If cars is your thing, you'll never have enough cars. You know, if clothes are your thing, you'll never have enough clothes. I know people got wardrobe, whole closets, you know what I'm saying, 2-story closet full of wardrobe, stuff they wear at one time. Same with shoes. People, a lot of black folk, we love some shoes, man. And you have a closet full of shoes. I got 3 pair of shoes. That's it. And 2 of them my kids bought. You know what I'm saying? I got 2 pair of shoes and my work boots. And like I said, 2 pairs of shoes that I wear, my kids bought because they got tired of me wearing the same old busted shoes and I was embarrassing them. They were like, man, you can't be walking around, bro, embarrassing us. So they bought me like some Air Force Ones for like a couple of years ago for my birthday. And I've had them for like almost 3 years now because I wear them sparingly because mostly I work every day, so I wear my work boots. But that's it. You know what I'm saying? But you go to some people, man, they have every pair of Jordans that ever came. I remember when I was little, in elementary school, when Jordans really was, came out and was really big, man, niggas would like leave school. They would cut school to go to stand in line to get them from Jordans. Or, you know, the big thing they used to do in Memphis, they used to rob a train. Somehow they found out whatever, boxcar the train, the Jordans gonna be on, they would go rob the train. You know what I'm saying? Just to have them shoes because that was their thing. You know what I'm saying? And they might go and they'll pay $100, $200 for the Jordan. And then as soon as the new ones come out, they got to go get them as well. They got to have the latest and greatest because it's going to never be enough. You know what I'm saying? If fame is your thing, you're never going to be enough. Look at what people are doing for likes these days. Look at what people are doing on Instagram, exposing themselves or making themselves look stupid just so they can get some likes and get some attention. Now, some of it happened, you know what I'm saying, it's not intentional, like with the Hawk Tall girl. Yeah, she got famous and she capitalized off of it, but she was just being silly. That was natural. But you got people that go on there and purposely degrade themselves, knowing that people gonna laugh at them just so they can get some attention, just so they can have their little 15 minutes of fame. You see what I'm saying? And if fame is your thing, you're never gonna have enough. If sex is your thing, you're never gonna have enough. If you love having sex with every woman that come by, no matter how many women you have sex with, you're never gonna be satisfied. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. If you love, you know what I'm saying, open your legs for every dude that come by, every dude that look good, no chocolate cocoa butter dude that's your thing, you're never gonna have a love. Whatever it is that's your thing is never gonna have a love. And that's why I'm so glad that my thing is the soul of men. Cause I'm never happy. That's why I go soul with never Saturday. It be hot, man. It's been hot out here, y'all. I be melting out there. And then I have to wear black shirts because I sweat profusely, and then I don't want to be I'm trying to talk to somebody about God and they think about how gross it is because I got these huge sweat pits up under my arm and down my neck, so I wear black shirts. Man, I be burning up out there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm out there every Saturday. And so far, by the grace of God, I've led over 600 people to the Lord, and I still want more. I want to get to 1 million. And when I get to 1 million, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to want to get 2 million. And if I get 2 million, I'm going to get 100 million. And I'm going to want to get 1 billion. It's never going to stop. But it's a good thing because what I'm doing is building the cause of Christ. It's building the kingdom of God. I'm not doing it for myself. So if it's doing whatever you're doing, if it's for Christ, then that's good, because everything you do is going to build his kingdom. But if you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your own worldly pleasure, then it's going to be bad, because that greed is going to take you down a path you don't want to go. You're going to end up being hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I do it. I'm going to end it with this. I'm going to read Ephesians chapter 5, verses 3 through 9, and it kind of sums up exactly what I've been saying. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 3 through 9. I can find it. I don't know why I didn't mark it. Here you go. It didn't take me that long. So I read my Bible all the time, so I can get to them usually. Some weird chapters, though, I can never get to quickly. But I'm going to end you with this. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 3 to 9. This is the mindset that you should have. And if you have this mindset, then you'll be able to do something. You'll avoid this trap of greed. So in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 3 through 9, the Lord tells us this. He said, let there be no sexual immorality, impurity, or greed. There we go, that greed again, among you. Such sins have no place among God's people. So if you wonder one of God's children, this is things that you're not going to participate in. He said, obscene stories, foolish talk, and coarse jokes, these are not for you. Instead, let there be thankfulness to God. You can be sure that no immoral, impure, or greedy person will inherit the kingdom of Christ and of God. For a greedy person is really an idolater who worships the things of this world. So this is what Paul's saying. He said, don't be fooled by those who try to excuse these sins, for the terrible anger of God comes upon all those who disobey him. So that, again, you see that greed and disobedience, it goes hand in hand, and that's why I said that it's greed is a curse of disobedience. Then he says in verse 7, he said, don't participate in the things these people do, for though your hearts were once full of darkness, now you are full of light from the Lord, and your behavior should show it. For this light within you produces only what is good and right and true. Try to find out what is pleasing to the Lord. That's it. That's it right there. That's how we should live our life. When we giving in to these urges, when we giving in to these women, when we giving in to these men, when we getting into the money, when we getting into all these natural things, the natural joys of this world, the what they call it, the pleasures of sin. When we give into that because we're greedy, then we're hurting ourselves. Not only physically, but spiritually. It's pulling us away from God. And that's what I said. You're supposed to be a child of God. Most of the people I assume are a child of God, because I don't think you could be unsaved and sit here and watch me run my mouth the way I do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming that you're a children of God. So this would say, if you're really a child of God, then instead of living your life doing what pleases you, you should be living your life to do what pleases God. Let that light that's in you shine through you. And if you can't find yourself, not able to do that, then maybe you really don't have the light in you. You might, you know what I'm saying? You might need to, you know what I'm saying, look and see if that light is really in you. You know what I'm saying? Get back. What up, Pat? Good to see you. Yeah, get back on track, bro. Hey, I'm always here. If you, whatever I can do to help you, bro, I'm always here for you. Just reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? But again, you got to understand, that's the disobedience. That's what we're talking about. That's the point of this lesson. That's what comes with disobedience. You know what I'm saying? If you disobey one thing, you're going to disobey another thing. And there's a path that disobedience takes you down. You know what I'm saying? And all these little curses are going to come in your life. You know what I'm saying? And Pat, I know, you know what I'm saying, you said you fall off, and I'm pretty sure things have probably been hectic for you. You probably had a few hiccups here and there, and there's probably been way more drama than you had to deal with than you had to when you was, you know what I'm saying, on the straight and narrow, so to speak. And that's what we got to understand. We hurt ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Again, the deceitfulness of riches, it hurts us. That's why it's called the deceitfulness of riches. It makes you feel like you're winning. When you're out here in this world and you're getting all the girls, you're getting all the dudes, you're getting all the money, getting all the car, it makes you feel like you're winning when in reality you're losing. And the devil just sitting back there laughing at you, you know what I'm saying, rubbing his hands because he can't wait till you go to that door called death and realize how much you messed up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, if you want to make sure that you're in line with God, that's why it's so important. That's why, like I said, I could have, really just kind of brushed through this lesson on disobedience and obedience, but I've talked about obedience, I've talked about disobedience, I've done them in other lessons, but I saw this as an opportunity to do a lesson on obedience and disobedience and do the comparison so you can see how important it is to be obedient and how important it is to stay away from disobedience. Because again, if you're obedient, you get the blessings. If you're disobedient, you get the curses. And that's what brings the drama and the chaos and the problems in your life. So y'all, I'm finished there. I said it's going to be quick. It's shorter than normal, but it still wasn't short. I only did one point, but I told y'all this was an important point. And like I said, when I got to put it together, I put so much time in this. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to try to rush it. I need to get up early tomorrow anyway, so I just cut it a little short. So I give y'all a little extra 15 minutes back. But I hope this helps somebody. I hope if you look at your life, Pat, I don't know when you came in. I saw you just pop up, but it don't always show. Go back and watch the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's some things in there that'll help your heart, to help you get back on that path. And y'all gotta understand, it's for your own good. Yes, it builds the kingdom of God. God benefits when you do right and you do the thing. You're obedient, do the thing. Don't get me twisted. God benefits from it, but you do as well. You know what I'm saying? God is not the only one that benefit from you doing the things that you're supposed to be doing of being obedient. You also benefit from it. That's why, again, Jesus said, I come to bring you life and to bring it more. I came to give you life and to give it more abundant. If you want to have that abundant life, you want to have that peace that passes all understanding, you want to have all the riches, the true riches that come from God that last forever, then you work on being obedient and stay away from the disobedient, and you will be able to avoid this curse of greed. So that being said, that's it for tonight, y'all. I thank y'all for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and end. I said I'm going to end quickly, but of course, like I told you, I didn't make no promises. But it is shorter than it normally would be. So, but I hope this helps somebody. I just felt the Spirit on me, telling me to keep going and giving y'all what the Lord gave me. And again, I hope it helps somebody. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, ending announcements always. If there's anything particular I haven't already covered, or any stories or anything I haven't covered yet, y'all reach out to me and let me know. I guess y'all must love the lessons I do, because I've never had anybody reach out like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, I want you to cover this or whatever. So I'm guessing y'all love it, or whatnot. But, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you got anything you want me to talk about I haven't talked about already, reach out to me and let me know. Be sure to keep sharing the videos, telling others about it as well. I want this ministry to grow. I want this stuff to get out there. That's why it's never public. Never private. I want you to tag it. Hell, if you want to take it and say it's your own, I don't care. I just want the word out there, because the words of the Lord never returns vain. You know what I'm saying? So keep tagging people, keep sharing people, sharing videos with people. If you know somebody that's going through these things or dealing with these issues, tag them in it so they can see it and they can get this wisdom as well. And of course, if you're not 100% sure about your salvation, please reach out to me. You want to make sure that when you go through that door called death, you're going to see Jesus on the other side. There's so many people I come across that don't know or ain't sure. And I'm telling you, that's one decision you want to be sure on. You want to make sure, because you don't want to get through that door called death and be like, it's going to be too late then. And as always, if you need any kind of spiritual counseling, reach out to me and let me know. I will set some time in my schedule so I can go whatever questions or whatever wisdom you had. I saw a couple of y'all came in late, man. It's all good, Ty. Man, I'm going to post it as soon as I'm done, and you can go back and watch it at your own leisure. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to always be there. You see what I'm saying? So I appreciate you being here, bro, and I hope everything is going good for you. But again, and as always, last announcement, if you ever want to catch back up, you was late and you missed it and you want to catch back up, go to my YouTube page, youtube.com, God's Servant / Lost Sheep Ministries. I always post them on there the following Sunday. So this Sunday when I'm doing my budget, I'll post this video on there. But all the other ones I've done since I've been on Facebook is on there. This is the easiest way. You can also scroll up and down my page. I never delete them on my page as well. So, but it's just, but I get tagged in so much stuff, it might be a little bit harder to find than just going to my YouTube. But any way it go, get that word in you, man, and let that word work in you. And hopefully it'll bless your heart and soul and bring you closer to the Lord. So with that being said, thank y'all for joining me tonight. I'm going to go ahead and pray and get out of here. Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, thank you so much for watching over us. Thank you for this wonderful word. Once again, I really did intend on it being a shorter message than usual, man, but your spirit took over me, and I just felt this is something, because like I said, this is something I know I've dealt with, and I know several others have dealt with it or are still dealing with it to this day, because we got a natural desire to self-preserve. We got a natural desire to be selfish, Lord, so we can stack it up for ourselves. And we don't realize, just like Solomon said, we're stacking his money up, we're stacking his paper, we're doing all these things to get rich, and don't realize those things that we're doing to get rich, this money that we're stacking up, is what's really hurting us, because it's pulling us away from you. And I pray you let help everyone that's watching this video that's dealing with that sin of greed or selfishness, Lord. Help them send your spirit down upon their heart to bring them under conviction about it. Help them to see what it's doing to them in their lives and how it's pulling them away from you, and bring them under conviction and give them the want to get those things out of their life, work on those things, get closer to you so they can have a closer relationship with you. I pray you continue to be with this ministry so it can continue to grow, prosper, reach out to the community, change the lives of others, and capture lost souls of men. I pray you be with everyone that's a part of this ministry, everyone that's spend time watching this video, whether it's a couple of minutes or whether they watch the whole thing. I pray you just continue to be with them, give them your power, love, and wisdom over any problem that arises in their lives that may keep them from doing the work you have for them to do, and continue to use them in a mighty way. Be with me and my family. Keep us encouraged in the work, no matter what the world may say or the numbers may say, Lord. And I pray you be with all our members as well. And I pray we can have the influence on them that want to give their whole heart to serving your purpose and your will with their life and doing the things you have for them to do. Be with all of your honorable public servants, Lord. All those that's in the military, law enforcement, medical service, rescue services, all those that put their health, life, and safety at risk to protect the health, life, and safety of others. I pray you keep them safe, be a wall of protection around them, help them see no matter how far away from home they are, they're never too far away from you, and give them the wisdom to make the right decisions, especially when it comes to life and death situations, and keep them safe so they can return home safely in the same way they serve. Watch over us, Lord. Watch over all your servants. Give us all your spirit. Give us all your power, love, and wisdom over anything that'll keep us from doing your work, and continue to guide our heart, our mind, and our steps so we may get everything done we need to get done to get everywhere we need to be. Be my members, all those that's suffering, all those that's going through some things, Lord. We're all going through something. Keep your hand upon them. Get them the strength and encouragement they need to continue to go forth. And don't let their faith fail while they're going through this fiery trial, whatever it may be. And help them come out on the other side purified so you can use them as a testament of faithfulness. Thank you for this wonderful message tonight. Thank you for letting your spirit work through me. And thank you for everybody that chose to enjoy, to come in and hear this message tonight. We love you so very much. Thank you for all you've done and given us. Say this prayer in your wonderful son, Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so I thank y'all, man. I got out about 10 minutes early. I didn't do good of being short, but I guess they're short when it comes to me. But again, I just hope y'all will help out that, man. I really wanted to be, I didn't want to rush it, but I definitely wanted y'all to get the full, grasp the full concept of what's coming, what I was teaching, because it's so important. And again, you have to be self-aware. You have to see these things in yourself so you can really work on yourself, and it can help you. If you really be honest with yourself, you humble yourself, it'll help you get to where you need to be so the Lord can use you. So again, I love you all. Lord willing, next Monday night, be back at 7. I'll be here with another installment in the lesson. And until then, I'm going to keep praying for y'all. Y'all keep praying for me. And remember to always watch your back and pray. Until next time, I love you all. Peace.